All right, Andromeda update rolled out around September last year, and since then I've been testing a lot of things with different ad accounts, different brands. And you can see here, for example, in this account, I spent over 700,000 in ad spend, generated over 2 million in revenue. And you can see most of these creatives are high spenders. For example, this one, 96,000 in ad spend, and it got 3.5, here 80,000, 3.2. And this is also another account that spent over 30,000 since October last year. And you can see most of these creatives are also getting a very profitable ROAS. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what's working right now, at least for me and for the accounts I'm managing, what's getting us the best results. So I think it's very important also to start with how it used to look like before the Andromeda update and what changed now. So here, if you take a look how Meta used to think, who should I show this ad to? This was the main difference. So like this is now the main change, is how Meta see things and think and also treat creatives. So it used to do it in this way: who should I show this ad to? While now, after the Andromeda update, it's all about what is this creative idea and where does it resonate. This is the main difference. And before Andromeda, Meta mostly learned at the ad level, while now it learns on the idea level, which is the entity ID, which is something we're going to be talking about today in this video. But yeah, if you have launched 5 slightly different versions of the same idea, different hooks, small edits, Meta would often treat them as separate tests, while now it's different. It treats them at one group, and that one group will be tested with the same entity ID and will go to the same type of audience. So that's why hooks and variations use it to work before Andromeda, because each ad we're counted for Meta as a new test. But now if you launch similar ads, then they will get treated as same concept or like same idea, and they will go to the same audience with that entity ID. So as I say, the main change is what Meta treats as a primary learning unit. So before Andromeda, Meta learned at the ad level. After Andromeda, Meta learns at the creative idea, so at the entity ID level. What is entity ID? So an entity ID is a Meta's internal label for creative idea. You can't test it, like you can't see it in the ads manager, you can't track it, but this is what happens in the backend and the algorithm. And it's not on the ad level, not on the hook level, not on the ad copy. It's all about the idea of the ad, the concept. And that's why it's very important to understand that now it's all about ideas and the new concepts. So let me show you how it looks in the ad account. When you launch an ad, it gets automatically analyzed by Meta AI. So it looks at the visual, the framing, the creator, environment, pacing, and the emotional tone. And basically Meta asking, what kind of idea is this? And then Meta gives this an entity ID. So Meta doesn't ask, who should I show this to? It asks, what idea is this? And who does this idea resonate with the most? And gives this idea a fingerprint, so an entity ID. This ID is very important because Meta learns at the entity ID level, as I said, and not on the ad level anymore, which means that creators with the same entity ID share the same learnings, they compete for the budget, they don't unlock new audiences independently. Creator with a new entity ID, reach new users, get fresh learning, get tested across new audience buckets, unlocks bigger scaling potential. So after Meta gives the group or the idea an entity ID, this ID will get tested across multiple micro tests. So Meta shows this creative to small cluster of users across behaviors, contexts, historical engagement patterns, purchase signals. These clusters are what we call audience bucket. And that's why now creative diversity is so important, because each creative idea resonates with different audience buckets. And if you want to maximize scale, you need more distinct ideas, so Meta can match your ads with more type of people. Here's a good example from a brand that's doing this very well. It's called North Organics. And as you can see in here, they're spending most of their budget on this angle, which is the your child's skin. So basically moms who wants to take care of their child's skin, get rid of their acne, etc. And for this angle, you can see how many concepts and how they are making creative diversity in their ad account. You can see in here, for example, this video, it's mom's advice, right? A young teenager, and here's the headline, some mom advice on getting rid of acne. This is one idea, and the other idea is mom's advice. You can see a mom sitting in the car, different background than with what they show in here, completely different idea, but it's the same angle. And here is a mom's advice, get rid of acne. Here we have like storytelling. I spent over 1,000 trying to fix my teen son's skin. And here we have, I got my son scammed and it was my fault. So you can see this and this will most likely get the same entity ID because they're basically the same concept. They're very similar. If you see the ad, you will see it's very, very similar. So most likely they will get the same entity ID, which is sometimes not bad, especially if you're testing like a new concept. It doesn't really mean that you don't have to test hooks at all. What's been working the best for us is testing 2 or maybe maximum 3 hooks. In the past, we used to test more than that, but now like 2 to 3 hooks, especially if we have like a concept that is completely new, we don't have any learnings about it, then we still test hooks. Because, okay, this creative will go to the same audience bucket, but that is not necessarily a problem. We're still testing to see what kind of hook will resonate the most with the audience. So that's why I'm still like fan of testing hooks, but not as much as we used it to test in the past. And here we have like transformation. You can see it's a green screen, and the mother says like, this is my daughter's skin, day 1, and then it will show like day 2, 3, and 7, etc. So this is like complete different ID, and most likely something like this will get a new entity ID and will go to a new users. They're doing the same thing with the image ads, and I think this is also very important to do the creative diversity on the image ads as well. So you can see this one, like in this style, is completely different than this one. And you can see this one is very similar to this one, but here they're showing a boy and here they're showing a girl. So it will go to different audiences. And here you can see they're also doing images with no text on them, just a story in here with the sons with his mother. So it's also like it will get counted as a new idea. Same thing in here, before and after, and all these kind of things. So that's how this brand unlocks a lot of scale. You can see like they're running tons of ads, and they're able to do that because they focus on creative diversity. So using a similar framework to what I'm using right now, which is this one. So I always have it like this. I have the persona, angles, ad concepts, creator, and location. The most important things are these 3: persona, angle, and concepts. So we're going to be covering them in this video, but just keep in mind that creator and location, they're also important, and you can include them in this framework. So let's take this example again. Let's say we're selling a product that gets rid of acne. So if you're going to think about the persona, we have adults from 18 to 25 female, and same thing for male. And then here we have adults acne struggler 26, 38 female, and then we have the male, and then we have the mom's angle. So basically this angle they're using right now. And then on the ad angles, we have hormonal acne, confidence, social anxiety, acne, fast results, impulse buyer, sensitive skin, frustrated acne, and makeup caused acne, etc. And then we have the ad concept, which is the most important thing right now, because as I said, now it's all about the idea and not only the angle. So it's not enough anymore to just understand your audience on the angle and the persona level, but you also need to understand what kind of ideas, what kind of content they like to consume. So we use it to do it like this. Okay, we know their pain points, their desires, their objections, and all that, which is still very, very important. But now it's also very important that we understand what kind of content they like to consume. So here you can see, like, we have a classic UGC, green screen, POV, before and after, podcast, in-car content, experts, street interview, and many others. And it's very important that you always try to refresh this list with the new ideas by taking a look at your competitors, maybe like different brands, different niches. Take a look at social media and see what kind of content is now working the best for your audience. If there's any like viral type of content, try to see if you can mix it in your ad concept. And from there, this is how it looks like. We always take one persona, which is 18 to 25 female, and then we take one angle, which is hormonal acne, and then we test that with different concepts. You can see, so this group here will get tested with green screen, in-car content, problem solution storytelling, ASMR, voiceover, B-roll, etc. And this is what's been working the best for us. And as I say, don't forget about the location and creator, because sometimes that will also make a big change and gives you like a new entity ID. You can track the entity ID, and if Meta gave you like a new entity ID, but the way I do it is to take a look at the new visitor percentage we're getting from that ad. You can check that on Meta, but you need like an attribution software like Triple Whale or ROAS, where you can see how many new users you're getting on your site from that specific ad. And that number, if it's usually like above 50, 60%, then it means got a new entity ID or like fingerprint, and you are going in the right direction. If not, then you need to retest things and try different concepts. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's what's been working the best for me in the last few months. If you have any questions on this, just let me know. And thank you so much for watching.